Had to reload the page there. It kind of had a fault with it. So I came up with an idea. I was trying to figure out how to get this place clean, and it's just really a mess. And even bringing in a cleaning person or a moving person, which one or both. And of course, I don't have a lot of money for that. So I ordered a couple of bins. It's the only thing I can think of, and just dump all excess stuff in those bins and lay it off to the side, right? And then call somebody in to clean, I guess. But I'm gonna have to get everything in those bins. It said for me, like I got a hint from beyond the divine, I guess God. It could have came from God or something else that's positive, but probably God. It said, don't take the bins from your storage unit because you're just bringing more dust and allergens in here. Plus, I just couldn't seem to get. Maybe that's what the Lord blocking me. I couldn't get them apart. I just couldn't do it. Too much pain. It's kind of, it's just so close, but yet so far. What's happening is this, to let you know. So years ago, I mean, you have to understand the deep state's attacking me the whole time, and they're timing it with appearing at the doctors. Here's something that happened today. Uh, I got on the senator's page, Senator Moran's page, to write up, what it is. Yeah, I put the deep state. Hopefully, they don't like poo-poo it, but that's really what it is. We call it the deep state nowadays. Right. And it could be Republicans also, and I'm sure Senator Moran can get there with what he's seen in his days in the government. Right. So when I'm trying to communicate with Senator Moran, as soon as I get to his page where you fill it out, the contact page, somebody calls in and it hangs up right away. Then I went to Senator Moran's profile on X. Same person calls in, hangs up. Called ProServe, but it doesn't even ring in. Or it went to voicemail real quick. I mean, it usually doesn't do that. Like I didn't do anything, and the pop up appears and then it disappears. Again, stalking my phone. They're trying to fear me. ProServe. We have to serve some papers, but it's a 405 number, and I don't live in 405. So you wouldn't be you wouldn't be calling me from a 405 number. Right. If somebody was trying to serve papers here, it would be a different area code. Right. I have different numbers. Right. So you have to understand, they have people that are doing something similar from medical places, and they put a guy in as the assistant to my dentist. But no doubt, he came in there passive aggressive. I mean, nobody's going to passive aggressive you in a dentist chair. It's always, hi, how you doing? Right. Right. And I actually tried to be nice to the guy. I just tried to really, overdo it because, obviously, even if they're having a bad day, once you're nice, I mean, you're in the dentist chair, they're the, but no. Right. That was in Santa Fe. So they keep doing that kind of stuff, and willing this way, willing that way. And it really does interfere with your health care, and they know it. So what happened was, I think my brother was asking like how it all unfolded as far as, I started telling him about being a rash. Because, he knows it's happening, but I'm thinking he doesn't understand what's going on, I think. Because they've been around him. Believe me, they manipulate his mind. He worked for a government contractor as a CFO, so I'm sure they would be around him that way. But they were also, because he's my brother. That's really probably the reason they wanted him manipulatable, and he is. So the last steroid shot I had was from this doctor. Now the weird part was that I get in there and this guy's in a wheelchair crying. He's got a urine bag, and when he got off the phone, he's on the phone. I said, "Can I pray with you?" And he said, "Yeah." And I mean, I was messed up too, but I wasn't going. Ah! I do that in a private space. I don't mean to make fun of him, but he got in surgery in Dallas, and it didn't go right, and he can't walk, I guess, and he has a urine bag. And for me, I don't know if it's real, because this is how bad it's been over the last 20, 30 years. They do, role play at the level of Hollywood. They do ruse at the level of Hollywood. But again, that's part of it, so that the victim doesn't know what's real and what's not. The deep state isn't exactly what you think it completely is, because I'm just a poor, disabled guy that left the government because it seems like that's what they wanted. Seemed like, it'd be best if we part our ways. It'd be safer for the both of us. Looking out to see if my delivery guy's here. And I was like agonizing, because it's like $20 more to have it delivered from Instacart than it is to go to Home Depot. But I'm having a bad day, and I'm thinking, well, at least, I got just the good Lord, I guess, was on my mind and said, you're not going to get over there. It's not going to get over there comfortably. You have to sit in that seat and agonize while they bring it out. You might as well give up the $20. Yeah, it's just hard when you don't. I mean, I have money, but because I'm disabled and the deep state attacked me, I don't have money. It takes a lot more. I mean, for all the work I did for the government, it should have just happened for me when I was in the government, when afterwards, and it didn't. And you can't go back to work because the deep state's messing with you. They'll just make up a story. It's like Jussie Smollett. See, now we're so many years forward, I have things like Jussie Smollett. That's what the deep state does. But it says it's that person and that person. So again, fabricated cases, fabricated color of law cases. So my brother asked me what happened. How does this? I said, I don't know. I said because the deep state was. I was trying to explain to him that the deep state's doing this to me while I'm trying to seek care and get healed. And I said, I don't know, because I got a steroid shot. I got the epidural in Tyler. It didn't seem to do anything. I was hoping when I got massage in Amarillo that it would work. Right. And because it was humid out in Tyler, I said, well, maybe if I went to a dry place, I'd feel better. But then it got snowy and all that out there in Amarillo. I was in terrible pain in Amarillo when the snows hit. And that's why I cleared out. And see, I know they drug people. I don't know what level. I don't know what they use. But I'm thinking, are they doing that to me here? And I'm not crazy. They drug you so you have that in your mind. Again, they want you to see it everywhere. I mean, it's a program. It's a spy program. And it shouldn't exist. And I don't know who's using it, but I'm sure Marshal Service is involved. I'm sure FBI is involved. They all got rotten players. But you're not gonna affect them by simply firing people that prosecuted Trump, because they may be the only ones that aren't the deep state, right? So you have to really do your research. And I'm not telling you. All I'm telling you is there's a way to do what I've been telling you. Is there's a way to do that, and what you're all doing is you're messing it up. You're either going to have to pay them, or you're going to have to reemploy them, or both. No, I just read this stuff on Elon Musk, so I'll get to it later. Oh, yeah, they're well, okay, when you hear me speak, sometimes I'm just receiving, and I go with it. And what I do is I look to see, because if I'm receiving, somebody's projecting. So what I'm looking to do is see if they, like that phone call I just explained, that's what I'm looking for. Or or like a notification, or certain posts, or Elon Musk can come up a certain way, right? So even if you put like a listening device, you're not going to understand it, because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk about it to see if it picks up some more. Like if you don't talk about it, it only goes so far. But if you talk about it, then it picks up. And it's things online and all sorts of stuff. I can't figure. There's something going on Facebook, and I can't figure if the person who owns that page is doing it, or they're putting it out there. Right. I just said, you see how I said that, out there? There's my delivery guys out there. That's what happens in my life. That's great, sir. Thank you much. No, I should have had a healthy life. It'd have been very easy. They just wouldn't let it be. Again, first having a wife, going to church, and because when I go to the church, then that becomes my dedication. I spend a lot of time there, but they wouldn't let it be. So I took a couple of salt baths today, and I couldn't get it to relax. But then I finally, usually if I take my shoes off, it relaxes. This time I put my shoes on, and it relaxed. So it's just crazy. It's just how to get it to relax a little bit. And there's still a lot of residual kind of pain, because I can't get it to stop contracting and retract. Years ago, there was a procedure that I probably should have gotten just to see if it would work. Right? They test it with numbing these two nerves, and then if it works, then they just kill those nerves, and every year you got to have somebody come and kill those nerves. What happens is it tightens your back up, and that's what messes up your back. Right? So if you catch it early enough, they can numb those nerves, and then everything goes back to normal. Right? So generally, at a certain point, and I think it was post-Colorado, again, it's just very difficult because the deep state's doing all sorts of shit to me. Right? Could be drugging me for all I know. At a certain point, I kind of, my left leg was like almost dead when I first got to Amarillo. I mean, it was very weak. But after some time, and I don't know at what point, I know when I was in Garland, Texas, I started getting better at a certain point. Because I went from Amarillo back to Tyler, got rid of all my belongings, gave it to the poor, or the poorest people I could find, or just people that are around me and they happen to be poor. Right. Then I took a trailer's worth out to I was going to try to get back to Amarillo, but I got to Dallas, and that's as far as I could go. It was just too heavy for my van. Right. I mean, maybe I could have got there, but it was like Christmas and it was snowing. I just decided to stay, and then I asked the guy, "Hey, do you have like a larger room?" Because I was in a small room with a monthly rate. So he shows me the handicap room, and I think it was like 1,000, or I think it may have been 1,200 flat rate, which isn't bad when you consider utilities and everything else. And I was in Garland, Texas, and I said, okay. And I set up a little nice room, and I remember being in a lot of pain. I remember because they were, at first he was like, I want to send you can clean your own room, but I'm going to send the lady in, the cleanup lady, just to see it. And she did it a couple of times, and they said, fine. I had a pretty good system there for cleaning. Most places I did, but recently I just got too sick. Right. This place is evil. This section of Kansas is somehow evil. Right. But while I'm in Garland, they start picking up. I told my brother, I said, I'm trying to explain to my brother how this all works. And again, I'm not anti-police, but police are anti-me. Because somebody paying, or some tells them, right, put a contract on me, whatever it is. So I said to my brother, I said, so I'm there and I'm getting better. Then all of a sudden, some dude, starts knocking on my wall. but I don't know where it is. Like if I say it's this person, I can't tell you. Right? But I think when I went around the other side, the guy wanted me to see him because they're trying to get you to be violent with the person. Right? So they want you to see the person. So he comes out of his apartment or his room, and he's looking, staring us down a little bit. Right? And that's probably him. He looked like this guy from the gym in Naples, Florida, that was, they weren't there steady. They just show up. So the woman comes in the gym. She gets my attention. Then she shows up with a guy. That's their MO. So he was the guy, and he looked like the guy up there. He's probably an agent or something. They're trying to torture me. But all of a sudden, I start getting sicker. And you could think it's the stress, but I don't think so. And I start finding these socks in my laundry. Now, they're trying to freak the person out, like we're investigating kitty crimes, So they put kitty socks in your laundry. But I 100% believe that they put drugs on it. And they're hoping you'll just ignore it because why? Oh, because you don't want to be seen as a person that's nervous about kitty socks. Right. But I believe because they have never put it in the washer. I mean, it's just as easy to put it in the washer. But they put it in the dryer. No, I use the other ones where you can just lift the lid. I've used those before. Especially, I think Darren Garland is almost positive. You just lift the lid. Washers, not the side load. So I do that, and I ignore it most of the time, but I started talking on it because I'm like, I don't think I thought about there. I can't remember if I said it or not. But now again, I'm not anti-police, but you have to understand if you're going to do me, you could have trouble. Again, when you started doing me here in Overland Park, your cop got arrested for a sex crime. You just have to understand that that's related. So you get away from it and then no further harm. Well, you'll be protected to a certain degree by Satan, but 5 years down the road, it may all come to fruition, and you all have issues. Yeah, I already said you're getting me. Satan's getting me, and you're all physically operating for Satan. So yes, I do have problems in my life, but it's not God. God assures me, and believe me, I've been very close to God, whether you torture me or not. I've been closer to God than probably anybody on the planet, but I believe that, people like Jesus and Paul had a similar relationship. Although Paul has a more distant relationship. Paul has a relationship, he doesn't have I and the Father are one relationship. He has kind of which means that you're one with the Father. You have a connection. It's kind of like Enoch, I and the Father are one, Enoch walked with God. That's kind of I and the Father are one. So a cop shows up, and he's staring. He's right out in front of my apartment. You have to understand, this is really witchy when they do this because they can summon you. So I got summoned outside my apartment. It just happened. And there's this cop, and he's looking at this apartment, and I think it's the apartment where the woman lives, right? That I meet late. That I don't meet later, but I see later. But they're part of the harassment, and my legs are burning and all. He's starting to burn and all that again after I was well. So about that time, or within an hour or so, 2 cops in Dallas were shot in the legs. Now I'm sure the same type of task force. What they do is they just put me on a sex crime list over and over and over again, and other lists. They just keep doing it. Meanwhile, sex criminals are living the life of Riley. The real ones. I mean, it's decades, man. And they get paid a lot of money to do it. So somewhere in there, it wasn't necessarily Colorado. Because out in Colorado, I remember being in a lot of pain. Now, I was outside walking. I guess it wasn't so bad. Certain times it was and it wasn't. I guess maybe I guess in Colorado it started shaking. No, I was in pain also in somewhere along the way. The pain subsided a bit, and it may have been in Oklahoma City when I started taking all those salt baths and did a lot of walking. Now the walk was really off kilter, severely off kilter, right? And my legs were stiff, very stiff. So it was like almost not quite peg leg, but pretty much getting there. But I've never healed. No, I've never healed. I've been disabled for decades, and they know I get these attacks, and they're trying to trigger these attacks all the time. As a matter of fact, now I didn't belabor it, and I didn't. I just told the people in Mr. Moran's office, as far as a voicemail and writing them, that it's just easier if I talk to you on the phone. Like I can explain like this, so I can make it sound. So it doesn't sound like I'm just QAnon or something. I mean, we happen to call it deep state, then fine, I'll call it deep state. It's corrupt government officials and private sector cronies. Now, if they hadn't done it, I mean, again, I couldn't get out of there. I couldn't get out of Santa Fe, and it didn't make sense to really try to run. I had a little bit of charitable thing going on there and taking care of people when I could. I mean, there are people, they need $20 or they're going to, miss their rent, or, they need something for their kids. Like I explained earlier, I give them money. And you have to pay me back when you can. If you can't, that's okay. I even, that's my attitude with all of it, even the woman that didn't pay me back for the laptop, but I believe the government told her not to pay me back. Like tried to say I was grooming her. See how you do that? You do charity and they say it's grooming. Yet the people that are grooming are just the wonderful cops, right? Who say you're grooming, right? Or the agents. So I never ever really healed of that. It was just less pain. Obviously, my first 2 years here, I was doing okay. But I was also tightening up a little bit. And at a certain point, it made no sense to just leave it. Thanks, Larry. Now, I did have some, and there's some other stuff, where my stomach gets bad at the same time. That's why I can't take any Advil, because the results are worse because I won't sleep. So I can go through some things and try to relieve it at night to get some sleep. But if my stomach goes bad, I'll just keep burping all night and I won't be able to sleep at all. That makes it worse. Right. But I was in some serious pain earlier, and I just let it go and turned it into a sting operation to see what would happen. When it was out, it appeared there may have been extra vehicles around. I couldn't tell you for sure. Now, earlier, I took my shoes off. I felt better. I took some baths. I couldn't get it right. I kind of laid down, made it worse. So I put my shoes back on. Now it's better. It released. But when it releases after being tight, then there's residual stuff for like, half a day or a day. So I don't know if I can do the ablation or, I mean, there might be a point where I could do some corticosteroid and massage and get it back. But if that doesn't work, maybe dumbing down or killing those nerves actually is what it does in your back, lower back. They have no purpose but to cinch up your back if it feels like you're falling. You have like inside of you is an automatic response. When you fall, it's not your brain that tightens up your back. It's two nerves in your lumbar spine. Right. So it may have been that may have worked 4 years ago. I don't know if it's going to work today. There's also other things. I have to get new foot orthotics. I was supposed to go today. I can't. There's an appointment tomorrow, but I'm probably going to tell them. I tell them, look, can I just come pick them up? I just don't think I'm going to be able to make the appointment. And like in their head, you just take an Advil, right? But I can't. Again, it's a trick bag they put me in. No, I'm still with God, but God doesn't own this money. I'm trying to tell you all, don't base your wealth on God. Now, if you want to say God gave you everything you earned that ever owned or earned, that's true. But God doesn't own this planet. Satan does. Well, again, the people don't turn towards God, and that includes Christians. If Christians did, they wouldn't do this to me. There were Christians that signed on to do this to me, Christian churches and things. That's why I speak about that part of it. Well, yeah, I mean, 4 years ago, I maybe should have went and got surgery. I mean, it's still crazy that I had to see that. But even after I saw that, I was thinking forward to get the surgery. I remember speaking with that woman that was homeless, and she's like, "Well, just come here." And it was like, I was still thinking about getting it, but she's like, "Well, just get it here, and I'll take care of you." Because she wanted me to live with her for some reason. I don't think it was get married or anything like that, but maybe some extra spending money or something. Right. I told her, "Look, you're on that program. I can't live with you." Right. And I think they're speaking about changing that now. See, I'm the one that brings that stuff up and brings it to mind and tells people about it. They did something to change the disability because what they were doing is they were causing disabled people to stay single. Oh, actually, I think Moran's doing that one. I think he's part of that, but I can't remember. Well, we want people to get married, and they stay single, or they can't live with somebody because of the combined income or whatever. So they adjusted it so it worked. Right? Because we want women or men that are on disability to get married. We don't want them to, shun that because they'll be, won't have money. Right? It costs me a lot of money to stay well. I'll tell you that. Now, so what happened is here it started tightening up. So I went to the massage to get it released, but they couldn't release it because I couldn't. I had to tell them when I finally figured out what it was, and I told the woman to release my neck, especially on the right side. She did it, and I wasn't in that danger zone, but I still have pain and everything. So again, 4 years ago, I was a lot healthier. I should have went then to get the surgery. Had 2 surgeons lined up in Philadelphia. I was supposed to go to my brother's. There's no doubt they psyoped them. So again, before I came out of the government, they had already indoctrinated my brother. Now my brother's somewhat wealthy. He's kind of in a precarious way. It's kind of weird his life, but he's got money, but he doesn't have income. He just has investments and stuff, right? And he hasn't received his Social Security yet. Probably a multimillionaire. But I was supposed to go there, and then it would probably, the next step would have happened. I probably would have saw some additional doctors. But being on my own and being deep stated in Oklahoma City, in the extended stay, and in my apartment, your mind just can't get to nothing, right? Because they just keep doing their shit to you, and they know it. So I can't believe it. It's like 4 years and I never got to any treatment. Again, when I got here, they deep stated me also. Now, who it is exactly, I can't tell you. I mean, the cops can say they call us and we just do what they say, but, you're torturing me. If you do what they say is torture, then, you've kind of missed the mark of what you're all supposed to be doing. In fact, I'm a disabled veteran and a disabled law enforcement officer. You're supposed to come and talk to me and say, "Hey, if you need anything, just let us know." But of course, they told you not to, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a price to pay for that in the afterlife. I just want to be well and do my religious studies and preaching and everything. So again, like I tell my brother, I said, "I don't think you understand how serious the surgery is," because he tries to convince me not to do it. There's no quality of life without it. I just can't let my box stay tight every day, 365 days a year. Like today, when it was tight, though, it was tight uniformly. For all those other years, it was like, kind of like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's funny because the Lord used to give me visions of that. Me being the Hunchback, just joking around, But again, premonition. So all they had to do is just let me live my life. It's not there was no danger. Even if I say "f you," they know what's going on. I've told them for years, right? In fact, I was trying to get people to move so they would investigate them, so we can get it over with. But again, they do what they do. And did I ever fit in law enforcement? Yeah, sure, I fit in great. They didn't fit in. That's the point. You have to realize deep state is not law enforcement; it's a scam. But I was a good law enforcement. I was a great law enforcement officer. Actually, I was too good for their liking. That's really what happened. I was pretty much disrespected all the way through this. Even when I first got sick and Tyler, it was just no respect. Now I don't know if they all got phone calls or anything like that, or got harassed and they just wanted me out of there or what. No, at a certain point in Tyler, it was more intense than I think I'm even experiencing right now. I mean, I was just totally crunched. I mean, they just should not have been in my life. I'd have been in Santa Fe. I would have continued on a massage. If they weren't in my life, I'd have finally found somebody to marry. I don't know if we would have stayed there or maybe moved to Albuquerque. I mean, that's probably a better place to live. A lot of people in Santa Fe are on like when they're single. This is one of the problems too. Again, it happens there. They're single on a certain type of support or housing, and if you get married, they almost lose money. Right? That's the only place I could really afford when I moved into Santa Fe. And like people that didn't have money lived in better places than me because they were subsidized. I was in the no zone. Didn't have money, but wasn't poor enough to be subsidized. Probably same everywhere like that. Okay, so about Edom. Well, I'm going to get off here and I'll get on again. Stay peaceful, praise God, and all that you do.